Hi, everyone. The way we still discuss and teach the concept of comfort zones typically revolves around a scenario like this. A shy person, assuming this is what a shy person looks like, takes a chance at public speaking. This person with coy tendencies has bravely stepped out of the comfort of their shyness and spoke up to the world or a classroom. I really think it's time we stop using this example, because comfort zones are not one fixed thing. It's not necessarily stepping out of an introverted persona and into an extroverted one. It can be the total opposite. Somebody could be perfectly comfortable speaking in public, and stepping out of their comfort zone means that they take a seat, they fight the urge to speak, and listen to somebody else's story attentively. Comfort zones are unique. We all have our unique comfort zones, and inside each of our comfort zones, there are unique contents. When I think of the ingredients and the contents in my comfort zone, I also think of the feeling my comfort zone gives me, and when I imagine this feeling, I imagine this. I imagine this like warm room while it's gloomy and cold outside, and I can hear the wind blowing, but I'm snuggled with my Netflix and a pumpkin spice latte. I'm safe, I'm comfy. It's making my heart fuzzy right now. That is what a comfort zone is. It is a safe space. But that's also exactly why comfort zones are typically a space where we don't necessarily grow or develop or evolve. In line of our theme tonight, which is in plain sight, comfort zones is not a new topic. It's not a new term that you hear. We have heard the term before, and we probably hear the term step out of your comfort zone a billion times, almost as many times as we hear the term global leader here at NYU. So if I can please ask you, just a show of hands, how many of you are familiar with an image like this? Show of hands? Yeah, don't be afraid. Let's go. I definitely have seen it before, other than the fact that I've prepared this presentation. And what this image is telling us is, very simply, all you need to do is just step out of this red line right here, and that's it. You're going to experience the magic. And you will. Don't get me wrong, you will. The magic does happen, and we do experience the magic, but it happens down the line. It happens eventually. The process of stepping out of a comfort zone, however, that's freaking scary. We should probably stop romanticizing that. It does work, though. It does. You can hear it from Stefan, who says, "I'm not telling you it's going to be easy. I'm telling you it's going to be worth it." You can also hear it from Matt, who said, "Without a doubt, the best and most scary thing I have ever done. A must do." These are real testimonials. But I actually have no idea who these people are. These are testimonials from a skydiving website. Yeah, they are. You might ask why. Well, what's in common between stepping out of a comfort zone and stepping out of an airplane? It's courage. It's that millisecond of pure courage, that short-term decision in the moment that has a long-lasting impact. Courage has the ability to change a life, to change a perspective, to change a habit. But like I said, that step, that choice, it's not, we really shouldn't romanticize it. In fact, it looks something like this. We are often faced by situations that challenge us, and we end up with options, and these options typically boil down to one of two. We either choose courage and choose to do things differently, in new patterns, in new ways, challenge ourselves, or we remain in our comfort zones and we do things in the same way that we're used to, with the same patterns. You might be facing a challenge of your own. You might be having a family issue. You could be having a financial problem. You could be going through an eating disorder or a mental health disorder. And going through this situation while remaining functional, while remaining strong, may actually be a strength of yours. And that is, in fact, what strength is by definition. It's the ability to endure during a difficult situation, to keep going. Sorry, I forgot to change the slide. Unless your journey in this challenge is coupled with courage, unless your decisions are courageous, that journey will be prolonged. And it might actually take a toll on you. Two years ago, my dad started having health issues. And so he asked me to take him to the doctor, and we went. They did an x-ray. We were recommended to see a specialist. So we did. We booked an appointment, and we were in the waiting area. I decided to quickly take a look at the x-ray report. And as I was going through it, I realized that it was riddled with words that I didn't understand. Lesions, neoplastic, metastatic. Like most people in my position, of course, I Googled it. And typically, when we Google symptoms, obviously, on the internet, it's pretty dramatic, right? In my dad's case, however, because his symptoms were really unique and really evident, unfortunately, it was accurate. And on the spot, as I was sitting next to my oblivious father, I realized that my dad has stage 4 cancer, and he has only very little to live. Now, I'm a very strong person. I had lived alone when I was 15, and I held multiple jobs. I got and maintained scholarships. I'm the eldest of my siblings. In many cultures, being born the eldest comes with a set of responsibilities, whether they're real or perceived. And as the eldest with 2 younger brothers, the most pressing thought in my mind was, what's going to happen to us? I knew this was a challenge. I knew this was going to be the most difficult time of my life, but I was strong. With biopsies and medical reports and doctor's appointments and treatments, it was very obvious that the end was very near. My dad's cancer was extremely aggressive, and it had spread everywhere. The moments in the weeks that followed that diagnosis, I experienced the most terrifying moments of my entire life, where I felt like I was jumping out of an airplane, but without the parachute. My dad was not only my father. We're going to go back to this one. My dad was my best friend. He was my companion. He was just an incredible person. My friends liked him more than they liked me, honestly speaking. He was the cold side of the pillow. He was a big glass of water at just the right temperature after a long, long day of fasting. That was my dad. As the strong Tala, however, because I was strong, I kept going. I knew I had to keep going. When my dad was diagnosed when he was 49 years old. And I speak of him in the past because only 2 months later, Shortly after turning 50 on April 7th, he would have been 52 last week. He passed away. This was, needless to say, this was completely devastating, and I fell to the ground. And I knew I couldn't stay there because I was strong. So I picked myself up, because I was strong Tala, right? I was strong. Strong people don't stay on the ground. They keep going, they endure. I kept falling. I would pick myself up and I would just keep falling. And I actually want to ask you, if you know someone who's going through a challenging time, even if it's not loss, what is something that we as a society say to them? Does this look familiar? We say, stay. Yeah. And in an effort to console me, so many people around me, with only the best intentions, really, in their hearts, they would tell me things like, stay strong. Or, Tala, you are so strong. And I really was, honestly. I was functional. Because what is strength for us as a community? It's this. It's a checklist, right? I'm functional, I'm strong. I was in the constant state of wanting to throw up, but I never did. Because I had to be strong for my family and for myself. I had just started my job here at NYUAD 3 days before my dad passed away, so there was no option. I had to keep going. But I can tell you, I was stuck in this cycle of falling and getting up for a long, long time. And I realized that, yes, I was strong, but I was not courageous. I was not courageous enough to admit what's going on, to feel everything that I need to feel in order to heal. I was not courageous to grieve and miss my dad. Intellectually, I knew how much I was hurting. I did not want to feel that. I didn't have the courage to admit that I wasn't okay and I actually did need help. So you see, I found out that strength does not equal courage. In high-achieving communities like ours, here and in other places, strength is seen as a trait that we all strive for, and strength is almost measured by how quickly you pick yourself back up and you keep going. And I know so many of you here, students, staff, faculty, community members, and friends, and I know how brilliant and resilient you are. And don't get me wrong, being resilient and strong and functional and all of that, of course, it's extremely valuable in so many situations. But in some situations, it's not. In high-achieving communities, failure is not an option. Weakness is not an option. Falling is certainly not an option. We owe it to ourselves to stop. Because if we don't stop, that's exactly when we're setting ourselves up for failure. That's when we're setting our mental health up for deterioration. It is no surprise, it is absolutely no surprise that Ivy League schools are breeding ground for mental health problems, with over 35% of students reporting mental health problems shortly after arriving on campus. It gets really dangerous. In 2017, a school was rocked by 5 suicides, 5 people, within the span of 6 months. Falling. I realized that for me, for my situation, I had to stop and recognize that I need to choose courage which was to stay on the ground. I need to be courageous enough to step out of the comfort of my strength and recognize that strength and being strong can, in fact, sometimes be the easy way out of a challenging situation. We all fall, right? It's a human thing. It's okay. Next time you fall, if you fall and you're scared to get up, try getting back up. If you fall and you're scared to stay on the ground, try to stay on the ground. If you're not scared when you make a decision, chances are you're not stepping out of your comfort zone. This is another capture from the same skydiving website. And it says, "Be brave. Even if you're not, pretend to be. No one can tell." And I actually have very mixed feelings about this. I really do. On one side, this is, it reminds me, it echoes the phrase, fake it till you make it, which is not why we're here today, which is not why I am here today. But at the same time, I recognize that this quote or this capture is not asking us to be strong. It's asking us to be brave and not really defining what bravery means or courage means. So in this case, be brave could mean you're just sitting on this stage and crying your eyes out. That's courage. That's brave. And one of the main reasons I like this is because I remember when I was going through a difficult situation, and you may relate to this, when we're vulnerable, we feel like everybody can see right through us. We can see that everyone can see through the stress, the grief, the depression, the anxiety. I have news for you, nobody can. It's an internal thing. It really is, and it was for me. I was in that position where I realized, I was like, oh, nobody knows what's going on inside here, so let me just take care of myself. Courage is a choice. Strength is a skill. Next time you fall, what are you going to do? Thank you.